What are the main ideas of each section of Motions of Earth and the Moon? In this lesson, you will learn how to identify the main idea of a section of text by synthesizing key details. Let's review. We've already read Motions of Earth and the Moon several times. We know that the author explains several different topics in this one text. Each topic has key details that help readers better understand what they've read. It's important to understand the meaning of key details. Key details are the important facts from the text. These facts help you answer who, what, where, when, why, and how questions about a topic. To find the main idea of each section of Motions of Earth and the Moon, we will 1. Reread, noticing and stopping when the author changes topic. 2. List key details about the topic in that section. 3. Ask yourself, what are these details mostly about? 4. Jot down the main idea of each section. First, I need to skim the text, noticing and stopping when the author changes topic. As I reread the first 2 pages, I remember that these pages explained the phases of the moon. The author used both words and an illustration to explain this topic. When I turn to the next page, I notice several things. First, there is a new illustration at the top of the page. The labels and caption reminds me that this page is about the orbit of the moon and Earth. I also notice the heading above the paragraph. It reads, Moving Through Space. This page is no longer explaining the phases of the moon. The author has changed topic and is now talking about how the moon and Earth move through space. So, the first big topic in this text is the phases of the moon. Now I need to list the key details about this topic. So let's take some notes on these details. The who or what is the main topic. This section of text is about the phases of the moon, and it explains how the moon seems to change shape each month. Where do we see the phases of the moon? The text tells us we see them from Earth. Now, when do we see the phases of the moon? The text tells us the moon seems to change shape each month. Now the why. Why does the moon seem to change shape? The author explains that this happens because the moon revolves around Earth. Finally, the how. How come the moon looks different? The text and illustration explain that a different amount of the lighted half of the moon faces Earth each day. Now I need to ask myself, what are these details mostly about? If I look at my key details notes, I know that the moon changing shape is very important. I also know this happens because the moon revolves around the Earth, so this is pretty important too. And look, the author has also included a key idea box at the end of this section. It reads, We see the phases of the moon as the moon revolves around Earth. This key idea box reminds me that the term phases of the moon is also important. Each of these 3 details is like a piece of a puzzle. I need to put them together to understand what this section is mostly about. This is called synthesizing. It's time for me to jot down the main idea of this first section. By synthesizing the details, I'm able to determine what this section is mostly about. I think the main idea of this section is this. The moon looks like it changes shape each month as it revolves around Earth. This is called the phases of the moon. A common mistake readers make is trying to tell all of the key details in their main idea. Remember, the main idea is what this section is mostly about. Now I'm going to double check that I included the most important key details. I mentioned the moon changes shape. I wrote that the moon revolves around Earth. And I included the term phases of the moon. Yes, this is what that section was mostly about.